The cloud here to the left of the screen is a representation of the internet. Adjacent to the internet is the IP address 172.5.0.0/25. Routers are utilized to transport data traffic throughout networks and make sure that authorized users are the only users accessing the network. As you can see, I have two firewalls. The firewalls operate to manage traffic while also filtering and blocking out any unwanted traffic. We have roughly 5 different switches. The switches function to allow the connection of various devices. The switches will connect computers, WAPs, and servers onto the same network, and the switch also allows for communication and distribution of data between the devices. Next here we have the IPS, also known as the Intrusion Protection System and the Intrusion Detection System. The Intrusion Protection System offers an alert in regards to possible threats. The IPS also authorizes the SOC, which is the Security Operations Center, and the SOC examines the threat and decides on whether or not to deal with the issue. The Intrusion Prevention System operates to keep the intrusion from causing damage and will rectify the issue. Next are our servers. The server I want to talk about is the proxy server. The proxy server is a gateway between the user and the internet. The proxy server divides end users from the websites they look up. Proxy servers offer increased functionality and privacy depending on the needs of the user or organization. The next server I would like to discuss is the DHCP server. This server provides and assigns IP addresses, default gateways, and additional parameters to users. The last server I would like to discuss is the mail server. The mail server sends and receives emails. The DMZ, Demilitarized Zone, is an isolated network that allows organizations to safeguard their inside networks. Next, we have the air gap. The air gap functions to segregate computers and networks from other devices as well as the public internet. I launched Nessus using the command system-control nessusd.service and ran the report. Nessus was opened up and a new scan started. I came across a vulnerability and I also came across a few suggestions. One of the suggestions I'm going to go over is the OS security patch, which is really just a suggestion. So the OS security patch states, Nessus was able to determine OS security patch levels by logging into the remote host and running commands to determine the version of the operating system and its components. The remote host was identified as an operating system or device that Nessus supports for patch and update assessment. The necessary information was obtained to perform these checks. The output here shows that the patch is available, while the severity risk factor showed none. It is still very important to update patches as you become vulnerable to threats without it. The actual vulnerability I came across was the SSL, and that was at the top of the list with a medium severity, medium risk. The description states a number of things, so I'll briefly cover those. The servers X509 certificate cannot be trusted. This situation can occur in 3 different ways in which the chain of trust can be broken as stated below. First, the top of the certificate chain sent by the server may not be descended from a known public certificate authority. This can occur either with the top of the chain as an unrecognized self-signed certificate or when intermediate certificates are missing that would connect the top of the certificate chain to a known public certificate authority. Second, the certificate chain may contain a certificate that is not valid at the time of the scan. This can occur either when the scan occurs before one of the certificates, not before dates, or after one of the certificates, not after dates. Third, the certificate chain may contain a signature that either didn't match the certificate's information or could not be verified. Bad signatures can be fixed by getting the certificate with the bad signature to be re-signed by its issuer. Signatures that could not be verified are the result of the certificate's issuer using the signing algorithm that Nessus either does not support or does not recognize. If the remote host is a public host in production, any break in the chain makes it more difficult for users to verify the authenticity and identity of the web server. This could make it easier to carry out man-in-the-middle attacks against remote hosts. Solution provided is purchase or generate proper SSL certificate for the service. So I'm assuming during configuration, my SSL certificate could not be found.